Hello everyone, today I want to show you one particular case of how we can use large language models which are running locally for bioinformatics, and today we will try to use it for particular task in single cell data analysis. But before we start, I want to highlight the broad picture of what we are going to do. As we saw previously, we can install large language model on our local PC and even run it. And then we can interact with that in different scenarios. So previously we checked how to use OpenCode and try to simulate the Claude code or something like that. But today we will try to do another thing. So we will run the large language model on our machine. And then also we will have a Python program that performs single cell data analysis. And then we will see how can we make them talk to each other. So basically the Python program will send some requests to large language model which is running locally, and large language model will respond in the way that our Python program will understand. And I think that it's nice to demonstrate and showcase this example. If you are outside of bioinformatics and single cell data analysis, the main idea that we want to have right now, it's like that we can send the requests from our programs to large language model, and then large language model can reply in the JSON format. So basically it's important that they can provide us JSON objects, and because of that we can read them in our programs. Last time we already installed LM Studio, so I hope that everyone has it installed. And let's go to the developer tab. I'll just show you that right now I already loaded the model, which is Google Gemma 4 with 26 billion parameters, and in this particular version I have active 4 billion parameters. And now what we're gonna do, we will take a look on particular section in the developer docs. So if we go to developer docs, you can see that LM Studio support REST API. Also, you can communicate with models which are running in LM Studio using the OpenAI compatible endpoints. I will not dive very deeply in this particular section. You can read it because it's in the LM Studio, or you can use large language models such as ChatGPT and try to learn it in a faster way. Basically, this is what I have done. But for us, the interesting part that we can use post requests to send a post request to our model and interact with that programmatically. So basically, the most common way to interact with the model is to create a chat. I hope that probably everyone already did it in ChatGPT or something like that. So first of all, let's talk with the model in the very popular way. It's we will interact it in a chat way. So I create a new chat, and then I will select the model that is right now spinning in the LM Studio. And right now we can communicate with the model in the same way as it's done in ChatGPT. I will turn off think because I'm not very interested in using the think mode for my task, but in case if you want to do it, you can leave it on. So now let's just provide the prompt, and then we will try to use the same type of prompts, but we will send post requests. So this is a prompt that I want to use, and in this case I have two examples of the data that we will send later to the model. So our task is to annotate clusters, and in single cell data analysis, usually during the downstream analysis at some moment we get the clustering of cells and we want to annotate them. And usually how it's done, we select the key marker genes for each cluster, and then these key marker genes can be used to clusterize, to annotate the data. And here we have 10 different clusters. You can see there are some genes. For example, in this case, probably some of the genes are resembles the neutrophilic signal or monocytes. And we want to get the response from the model in particular format, which is a JSON. So here we specify that the model should return exactly the JSON schema, and we expect to have the following fields. And then also we provide some constraints to direct the model to build to JSON only. So let's run this prompt and let's wait. As you can see, the model works very fast, so I immediately got the result. And this is a result that we will use later in our program. And as you can see, everything is fine, so it looks as a valid JSON object. So this is the clusters, then there is a cluster 0, 1, and there is a annotation for that. So this is very nice. And now let's switch to another way where I will demonstrate you how to interact with the model using the requests. So for that, in the beginning, I will send the request just inside of the terminal. I prepared the request here, so I'll just copy paste it. And I'll briefly go over particular thing that is specified here. So we have the system prompt. This part can be omitted, so it's not like very important, because you saw that I sent the request without any system prompt in the chat and I got the proper result. Here we have the same content as we sent to the model using the chat mode. So this is simply the same prompt. And I also specified that I don't want to have the reasoning mode. And also I specified the model that I want to use. So now, in case if we send this request, we can go to the developer mode and check that our model indeed got some request, and right now it's working on shaping the output. So let's wait. And as you can see, it's done, and we can explore the output that we got from the model. So this was our input, and then in the end we got the result. So this is basically the result. And since everything is in JSON format, we can parse the output inside of our Python program. So now let's switch and just use it, and we will see how can we leverage large language models for some use case scenario in our particular task. Before we start, I want to highlight that I think that the most important part here, that we can use some large language models and they indeed can simplify our work. We will see it right now. And the beauty is that these models are free, so we don't need to pay some subscriptions. And also at the same time, everything stores on our local machine. So in this case, we are more secure and more safe in terms of our data. So we don't share it with some external people. And sometimes in bioinformatics, it can be very important, because sometimes you are working with sensitive data and you don't want to share it anywhere. So, and then in these cases, we can use large language models which are running locally. So let's briefly go over the Python code that I prepared. This is a simple scanpy script to analyze the single cell data. So basically here we perform some basic downstream analysis, and let's just execute this code cells. You can create the same code by using the large language models before that. So in case if you don't know how to write the script to analyze the single cell data analysis, you can leverage large language model. You can, for example, open as a chat and then say that I want to perform single cell data analysis using scanpy, and it should work in the same way. So here we got the output, and as you can see, we got 9 clusters. And now we don't know exactly what's hidden behind the label of the cluster. So because clustering is done in unsupervised way, we don't know what is the cell type behind the cluster. And here we will use the model, and we will simplify the process of annotating the cell types in the single cell data. So let's just do it. And for that, we need first to identify key marker genes per clusters. And for that, we will use the following code. And let's just check. So here in the end, we got the markers table. And this is a table which stores the information about highly expressed genes per cluster. So as you can see, this is a cluster 0. And these are the names of the genes which are like highly expressed in this particular cluster. And now we can shape the proper prompt and send it to the model. I'll also add in the description of the video the link to the code, so you can take a look. Basically in utils we have specified all these functions which are using the requests module to interact with the model. And here, so we will just run the request and we will wait until the model gets the result back. So, and as you can see, we sent the request to the model. Right now the model works on shaping the output. As soon as it's done, we will get the result in Python. So now you can see in Python we are able to parse properly the output, and this is how it looks like. So we got the output for each cluster, and for example for cluster 0 we assigned the type as ribosomal proteins, and the confidence is weak because there are a lot of genes which are like not well defining the cell type population. But for example, the next cluster is cell type B cells, and there are indeed very nice key marker genes that were identified in this particular case. So, and now we can use this information to assign labels to the clusters. And so this is a unsupervised clustering on the left, and this is the results after we used the large language model, and it looks pretty decent. Anyway, every time when we use large language models in case of bioinformatics, it's very important to have some sanity checks and to perform some double checks. In this case and in this video, I will not very focus on it. I just showed you how you can, for example, think about your tasks, and sometimes you can come up with the possible way how to improve and speed up the work that you are doing. In this particular case, we try to do some of the steps that usually done manually by using the large language model. I hope that you like the video. I'll try to make more videos on this topic where I am trying to learn and get new interesting things from large language models. See you.